Next question and this kind of lead into something else, but when and how can a student athlete be contacted, and what's like your general time frame? But then also kind of leading into commitment, like what is a verbal versus a national letter of intent and stuff like that?
John, why don't you start first, since that way you don't have to say "and at the NAIA."
What? You can verbal to me when you're in 8th grade, and we'll sign you when you're a freshman. And I expect you to adhere to that contract.
Anyone got a 7-year-old out there for John? He's waiting.
There's, with us, like I said, there really is no time. There are schools, though, that are members of the National Letter of Intent, and then there are other institutions that are not members of that. So there are two types of letters of intent that you do sign. With us, like I said, I'm rebuilding a program. There are NAIA schools in the Chicago area that are looking for players their junior years, and they want them to sign their junior years or verbally commit their junior years, and they want them to sign as soon as possible. To be honest, I'm not in that situation. I'll be recruiting until August 1st. So, I mean, I'm looking for players right now. I'm building. So, to me, I'm not in the situation that a lot of other schools are. But, again, that is very flexible in the NAIA. And the only thing, when you verbal to a school, and I was in front of a player this past weekend, and I talked to the college that she verbal to. And I was talking to the coach about this player. And I've watched her play, and I know her club coach very well, and I never recruited her. And she is in front of other coaches sitting there talking about opportunities. And you don't do that. In my opinion, when you verbal, you are taking the trust of somebody that's worked very hard to recruit you, and you have a relationship. And I think when you verbal, that is a point where you're telling a coach, hey, I'm 100%. Now, there are going to be things, and there's going to be issues, and some kids verbal very early, and I think every coach will understand if we get a kid that verbals when she's 15 or 16 years old, and she comes back a year or two later and changes her mind. I mean, come on, she's 16 years old. That's tough to keep you haven't seen everything yet. But that's when you go to the coach and say, hey, coach, I think I need to open up and start looking. I'm really feeling uncomfortable. You discuss that with the college coach that is trusting you. And I just shook my head when I see her and she's still shopping. And I'm like, so afterwards I just told her. And she came up to me and she says, well, John, so-and-so's going, what do you think? And I go, I'm not talking to you unless you go back to that college coach and you talk to that college coach, and then I talk to her, then I will talk to you. But I won't do that. You verbal, I think that is something that you take very seriously. When you sign that letter of intent, you got to be sure. And that's when you do your homework. And I think every coach up here, again, it's about character. And they want to bring in those kids that have that character, that they're going to be able to coach, they're going to be good students. And once you break that bond, because I know Janet's going to talk to, 5 other Big Ten coaches, because coaches talk. And so if you are one that does that and does a lot of hopping and does a lot of, really 100% to say, well, coach, I think I'm coming there, and you say that to 5 coaches, well, eventually that's going to come around, because coaches do a lot of talking. So